In part 1 of making your life easier with Template Engine, I did show you how I removed a lot of the repetitive setup. And I know I did mention that you can have more than one template, but having more than one template, one for vertical slice, one for clean architecture, one for modular monolith, one with open telemetry configuration and one without, and any other variations can create different problems. You'll end up maintaining every single one of them. So instead, I decided to set up one template that changes what it generates based on user input. In this video, I'm going to show you how symbols and parameters make that possible. Hello, I'm Saeed. I'm a software engineer and an AWS solutions architect. So in the previous video, this is how far we got. We configured Template Engine together to create a simple solution. So I further configured the Template Engine to include symbols and sources. So I'm going to walk you through every single step. So first I added symbols. So in symbols, you can configure and tell the Template Engine what sort of parameter you want to accept from the user input. So in this example, I added a customized parameter called architecture. The type is parameter. The data type is a choice because we want to have multiple architecture types and allowing multiple values false. So for choices, we've got clean architecture and vertical slice. I've also got a little section down here as a part of the symbols to configure further open telemetry as an option. Again, it's a parameter. The data type is a Boolean, and the further description and the data value is set to true as a default. So further down, we've got sources. If I open sources, you see the modifier section as a list. We've got some conditions and we've got some actions. So for the first conditions, I want to check whether the architecture input from users is clean architecture, and I decide what to do with it. So as a decision, the action would be to exclude the API features folder and all of its contents. So basically, I'm telling the Template Engine, if the user chooses a clean architecture, please remove all the features from the API, assuming that features is for vertical slice architecture. The next condition is vertical slice. We're checking if the architecture user input is vertical slice and then taking action. So what I'm doing here, I'm excluding all these projects from the solution. That's all you need to do. This helped me to have one template with many different configurations. Let's have a look at the template structure. What we have here to support the clean architecture template, we have got API, core project, infrastructure project, and use cases. This is what usually people go with. But because this is a template, it needs to have everything that we need that template to do and generate for us. So going to the API project, we have something that demonstrates what a simple vertical slice architecture may look like. So we've got a features folder with a very basic setup for a vertical slice style project. When you're excluding actual projects from the template, if you create a solution from that template that would exclude those projects, you need to also take into account the SLN file. So what I mean by that is that if you go to the sources, you see that we've got this exclude section for core use cases and infrastructure projects. Now, if I show you the SLN, you also need to take into account the references to these projects inside the SLN file. So you can just have a very simple if statement saying that if the architecture is equals clean architecture, only then include this project reference into the SLN file. So you would need to do this for all the projects that you would like to exclude when you don't want the template to generate that project. So what happens is if you don't do this, you'll end up creating the vertical slice architecture style. You'll see that you've got the projects from the clean architecture style is also listed but not loaded. So how does it work then? A quick recap, we've got a couple of symbols. We're going to try the architecture symbols to see how it works. We're going to go with .NET new install / to get a template installed. Now heading back to the other terminal, I want to try the clean architecture solution style. In order to use the custom parameter that we just created, we go -- and the name of the symbol that we want to use is architecture, and the value that we created as a choice as it is here. So quickly clean architecture. Now it's going to do and decide what to do with that input. I just realized I just mistyped the template. So quickly fix that. Now enter. Okay, so now we've created a solution from this template. Now if we just take a quick look at the solution that we just created, go to the template demo. Over here, we've got the infrastructure project, API, core, and use cases. Now if I just head to API project, you don't see any sign of the features. The feature was part of the solution template. Now it doesn't exist in the solution that we just created from this template. So if you just quickly open the project, API project, core, infrastructure, and use cases. If you open the API project, you don't see the features folder here. This was very important for me because now I don't have to handle many different sort of template styles for different need. I can have one and really spend some time on it, get it to the perfect stage, and I just carry on using it and just maintaining one template as I go. Perfect. So now we can just try vertical slice architecture style. So .NET new again, simple template -n my company --architecture vertical -slice. Not slive, it's a slice. So now we've got a brand new project created again from this template. So I'll quickly take a look at it. Vertical slice in our template demo folder structure. None of the clean architecture related setup or projects exist. You can see that there is a features folder with the structure that we created as a part of the template. So the other thing that I was going to show you is that I really wanted to do it for myself, that how can I exclude or include particular configuration rather than the project, the whole project itself. So we talk about architecture. So I've added include open telemetry because I want to determine by the command and as a part of the template that there might be situations that I don't want to include open telemetry or any other different configurations that you prefer. So I've created a Boolean symbol, and down here that you don't have any sort of modifiers. I didn't need to add any modifiers in the template. Instead, if I go to the program CS, I've installed one of the OpenTelemetry NuGet packages for this project just for the purpose of the video. Over here, you could say, yeah, I want to add some configurations for the OpenTelemetry in my template. You can add different options and different configurations inside this. But that up there, an if statement that says if the include OpenTelemetry is true, do this, otherwise nothing. So let's quickly test that. So if I just go with the same command as we did before for vertical slice, and I just add a new section there, if I just copy the symbol -- paste, if I just say false, so we just created a vertical slice solution from the template. And if I just quickly open this and we can just inspect what happened to the OpenTelemetry configuration. Right, okay, so this is the vertical slice project we just created together, or solution. So probably hitting two birds with one stone. So as you can see, there's no signs of the projects for the clean architecture style. So let's have a look at the program CS. And yeah, ta-da! You don't see the OpenTelemetry here because it's excluded. But guess what? It's also excluded the package. So it's smart enough to know that the package doesn't need, is it? No, it's not. It's not about smart. It's about templating and then making sure you're excluding it from the actual reference as well. So going back quickly to the template, if I don't want any packages to be included or excluded, then I have to tell it to do so. So OpenTelemetry only going to be included if this statement is true. Simple as that. So no magic, just pure configurations. Okay, so the last thing that we need to discuss is how to package this. And by packaging, I mean like you don't want to keep doing the .NET new install // and .NET new in the name of the package, the short name, and then the name of the solution that you like. You may end up like saying, well, what am I doing? I'm just keep writing the commands manually. Although it takes a lot of the pain away and a lot of the repetitive tasks away and all of that stuff that we've been talking about. But there is a better way, and that's about, you know, packaging everything into a NuGet package. So I decided to create another video for this over here, if you want to watch that. And the reason is I will end up and basically restructuring the whole solution that we've created so far. And that is gonna, you know, drag this video longer than I wanted originally. So if you want to learn about how to package a template with multiple projects, go here.